what I'd like to do is just light it for you and just show you that part first before we show, maybe not even go through the mixing. I was gonna mix up the tomatoes and the manure and stuff, but I maybe just show you what that is so we don't have to go through it. But I wanna try to get some flame out of this thing. I've been experimenting with the pressure. These sandbags are what makes the pressure in here, in the gas bag. So I've been taking them out and seeing what I get away with as far as the lowest amount, because I wanted more gas to come up in there. So we'll see what happens. I've been burning for several days now, but we'll see. I haven't tried it today. So essentially there's a valve in there to sort of shut the system off from there, so no gas can come out the tube. It goes through a bigger tube first, and then it reduces to a small tube, and then it goes into the stove. If anybody come up here and you feel it, anybody wants to just feel the gas coming out? Doesn't smell or anything. I mean, if it smells of anything, and I've smelled it, if it smells of anything, it smells of vinyl because of the tube. But so it feels pressure, right? Yeah, not a whole lot, but I mean, it's whatever. I would not light this. It has the system has a anti-flash suppressant, so it's not supposed to be able to go backwards. I'm not gonna try it. It also has, like I said, the carbon filter, and it also has, it has the chlorine filter for the effluent, but it also has a carbon filter, so it's sort of a multiple purpose filter in this particular unit that filters out the hydrogen sulfide and moisture on its way out, so that they have pretty much been reduced. Let me see if I can get some paper here. It's the only way I can do it. As I said, the flame is going to be pretty much hard to see, so the only way I'm going to be able to show that it burns is with the lighting a piece of paper on fire. Okay, you can see it barely. It's not dark enough, but if we were too dark, we wouldn't be able to film. The only way we're going to see it now is, in this case, is to hold my paper up there, light it, so we do have fire. In good shape.
So is that full throttle?
Yeah, it's full throttle, but as I said, I have not pressurized the system nearly to where it's supposed to be because I wanted to build up the gas. Ideally, this is the first batch of gas, and what you're supposed to do is, usually the first batch of gas is not flammable at all. There's way too much nitrogen in it and too much carbon dioxide. What you're supposed to do is, and you can get in here, you can get it really tight and probably see it. What you're supposed to do is release that entire bag the first time and then build up a second one. Unfortunately, we had a leak issue, and I unfortunately didn't, have the luxury of doing that. So,
how long has the system been operating?
This system here has been actually making gas for about 3 weeks. Yeah. Like I said, I started this back in, was it May actually? And it just, the leak and I was in 2 weeks in Alaska, then I came back and started all over again, and I didn't want effluent all over the floor, so I just had to resolve that problem, and I did. So that's that. But I have been keeping in contact with Appalachian State too, so it's not just me. I know for this exact system what's going on from somebody else's operations as well, so I'm in good shape that way.
You know what caused the leak?
I don't want to say it was the fault of the manufacturer. At first I was convinced, and then I'm not so sure. And we had a very likely explanation is that the water came through the joint between the building here and came down and got into the skin of the digester, and I thought it was leaking. We did, however, have a loose fitting at the inlet pipe. I tightened that, and I crunched the plastic up in there, tightened it down, and the leak stopped. So, take that as you may. I don't want to be, I don't want to put blame where it doesn't belong, but, it's okay now. It's fine. So, let me see, is it still still going. Now, if I was to push on that, is anybody actually in there? No. Okay, if somebody's in there, if somebody would go in there and just push down on it once he's finished, we'll see if that flame rises up a little better. I'm at the lowest possible level of the gas work. I'm at 2.25 inches of water column, and it's supposed to be at 4. And it will be at 4 if they were properly put in, because I purposely did not put them in. Got it, Pat?
Yeah, is that doing anything?
Yeah, no, it definitely is. It's turning a little bluer, and there's some yellow coming out of it. How hard are you pushing?
Not real hard. I can push harder.
Yeah, push harder. See what happens. Okay, well, yeah, you can see it. Yeah. This is my doing, by the way. This is a beta test. I purposely did not put the weight in them. That's what I'm getting at. If I put the 50 bags of sand in there, it would be, it would be like a regular thing.
That's enough to cook with.
Oh, it's not.
So
It will
to
fill the whole.
overflow into the bucket, though.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's all right. Stop pushing.
Yeah, I did. As soon as I heard that, I stopped.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want it on the floor if I can help it.
Lots of experience with these kind of systems.
So I'm going to show you here basically what we've got. I should have my gloves on, but I don't care. The horse manure is actually pretty okay compared to a lot of stuff. Basically what I would do is, this is a little aged, but I've got my empty bucket, and I'm going to put in, you probably normally would weigh this, but you can see, I know just from having fed it, you can pretty much see. You got that? Nasty. Who's the gentleman who's the guy you were talking about? What it looks, you know what horse manure looks like, but I'm saying this is pretty clean, right? So I'm going to put some of that in, maybe, and I really try to be a little selective so we do not get the straw, the wood shavings, and all that stuff. So we don't have too much in there. That's not a scientific measure, but I just did it. A little bit of that. I'm going to take some of these tomatoes, and this can be done separately, but I'm just going to do it here because we're here. Stick them in there and put a little water. It's basically a 50-50 slurry. Let me get my drill in here. Standard drywall mixing device. And basically just stick it in there, and I can physically crush it first. Yeah, you don't oh, did I get you? Come on, Lisa.
I don't want to use the Zoom feature.
Right. No. I've got this on my hands and not washed my hands. Not immediately, and I've done things like eating lunch, and I realized I actually did get a little bit of an upset stomach, and I know why. So it's not that bad because it was just a little thing. I've had a lot worse.
At home.
Yeah, I would definitely. If you work on a farm, though, you're sort of used to this, but I would suggest gloves, old pants, and maybe glasses. These are not exactly right, but they're better than nothing. A little bit. The tomatoes aren't breaking up as much, but I can mush them with the thing.
And I would suggest that a farmer could figure out a system that was.
Yeah, this is just a demonstration. This is not.
Just throw something together with an old tiller or whatever.
Yeah, a concrete mixer might work. A drum or a container with an auger stirring device would work. You could do a lot of things. Back at the PTO of a tractor, it doesn't have to be this basic. Now I'm going to put the slurry. I don't know if you can get is that cool? It's just horse manure and tomatoes in this case. I don't know how many gallons. It's like really about a gallon in there. And I'm going to go in here and feed it into the sink. So you can bring the camera up. Got it? This has a special little hook on here, so you can put that there. Whoops, that didn't work. Put that there and it stays. And then I'm going to come from this side so you can see it. And we'll just, whoa. Oh, well, that's fine. Just going to pour everything right in there. Oops. Now, forget that. And then take the sink plunger, just basically clean off some of this residue from here, put it down in there, push it a couple times to make sure the new stuff is mixing in with the old stuff down the tube, and then I push it down all the way and it's done. Now the only other thing I wanted to show you is the temperature. I better shut this gas off. Ooh, oh, there's a good. See, now we're getting better, getting a better quality. Yeah, see, the whole thing's up there now. See, what's happened in there basically is that it's stratified. The gas has stratified. Pat pushed on it. I just leaned up against it. It's drawing off the bad gas, and it's starting to get to the core of the good gas. So actually, this is a pretty good. Actually, it's an excellent first try, really, because this is the first sample, and it's not bad. And that's definitely enough to heat water. I mean, that's like the burner on your stove.
That's for the burner on the stove on high.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's another thing is you don't need to be running this on high all the time. Some simmers and stuff like that, you can conserve your gas quite nicely by keeping it half speed or half level or quarter, Most people cook, I mean, I'm not even a cook, but most people cook way too high. They use way too much heat when they cook. That's my 2 cents. Yeah, right.
Almost looks white.
But you can see it. That's Patrick was worried about not being able to see it for a good reason. It's it could be a safety problem, but it's pretty visible to me. Yeah, don't burn your phone. Just one other thing I wanted to show you, and I forgot where. Oh, here it is. I'm not going to. Okay, we can all go in there and look, but let me show you watch out that's burning. I take a temperature reading. This is a digital thermometer, so I'm gonna just take a temperature reading of the digester bag itself, the temperature of the effluent. .91.8. I don't even know if you can see that. 91.8. Okay, and that's pretty good. That's of course, that's. It hasn't. Night hasn't fallen yet, but it's getting there. And then the other thing is
down to the low 70s by morning, you think?
Yeah. No, probably not. No, not that low. I would say it would probably be down to 91, probably down into the low 80s. In this weather, in the winter, that's a whole different story. pH levels, we've got our just standard strip test kit. We have digital pH readers, but I don't trust them. This is fine, cheap. And what I've done is I've just done a little, a simple little measuring stick here. A little hook for it in here. It's just a paper or a office paper clip thing on the end of this wire that I made, so I can dump it down into the outlet, because the outlet has a little hole there for other devices. And with this style, you just match your colors. So I've got, I can't really see it, I'm shaking with this thing, but I would say we're at a level of about 7.3, definitely above 7 and definitely not at 7.5. So we're about 7.3 on there, which is perfect, absolutely perfect. What I do is I dump, I'm not I normally don't do this at home, but I just dumped the strips down here and just to have sort of a count on how many times I measured it to make sure I did enough every day. I try to measure it every day. I missed one day, I think. But that's essentially it. And you can measure the effluent too. I measured the digester bag, but you can measure the effluent to see if there's a difference. There shouldn't be. We really have to realize there's only really the temperature and the pH levels are really the only two things that are measurable easily, and just to keep an eye on that. And that's it. I mean, it does have to be managed, but it's not a horrible thing. This mixing stuff, as I said, could be handled with more mechanized, sophisticated equipment without spending a fortune. So we do that. But we've got our clean gas. I mean, that's reliable. It's not fluctuating. It's not sparking. It's not yellowing. It's not it's not doing anything bad. So here we are, and that should burn like that. Bag was not full when it started, but almost full, but it wasn't full. Pressure seems to be fine. It's definitely not at 4 pounds. It's probably only about 3 there. 3 inches of water column. I would say that flame could continue to go until probably about 4 to 5 hours, maybe even a little longer at that level, because that's not really full speed. So unless there's any other questions or whatever, I'm sorry we ran so late, but I think we accomplished everything we had to, and you can refer to your handouts for specific measurements and questions, and definitely in the resources. If you really want to delve into the resources, there's some really, really good information in some of the other people's studies. Penn State and the ATRA stuff, the national, it's the NSIT one. You'll see it in there. It's basically, there's a business manual in there, and there's also just a small scale digester coverage, and really good information and current too. And then there's some older stuff. But that's it for the class. I hope everybody got something out of it.
Hey.